This morning I read Matthew chapter 8 through 10, and just love reading through this again. I ran across a story that, as I ran across of it, I thought of it completely differently this morning. It was a story of the blind men. Now, these blind men, they're following Jesus, and as they're following Jesus, they're screaming out, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." And it got me thinking about a couple of different things. I mean, I wonder how these guys at first were following, and then it appeared to me in my own head that they must have been led by somebody else to follow. And then I thought a little bit more. I mean, how can two men who have never seen want to see? Have you ever thought about that? I mean, how can they even picture in their mind? See, even that word picture, in order to picture something, you've had to have seen it before. How can someone describe the sky to them without them understanding what blue was like? How can someone talk about trees without them understanding the color green? How can someone describe flowers without painting the picture of the beauty that's seen in the colors? And here these two men, they want to see. So they're following Jesus, and they're saying, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." And Jesus gets to a house, and when he gets there, the blind men are brought to him, and Jesus says, "Do you believe? Do you believe that I can make you see?" Of course, I'm paraphrasing all this. And they say, "Yes, yes, we believe." And so Jesus heals them. And for the first time in their life, they're able to see. I can't imagine what that must be like. Something that I've taken for granted my whole life. And then further down in Matthew chapter 9, Jesus gets to the point of telling his disciples to look all around them and to see. Thinking, wait a minute, they've always been able to see. But what Jesus was telling them to see wasn't colors, wasn't pictures, it was people. Jesus wanted them to look at people differently. You know, instead of looking at people as being a bother, he wanted them to look at people as being an opportunity. Instead of them looking at people and coming into points of judgment, he wanted them to see people differently. You know, even though we are people, most of us are people that have been able to see our whole lives, the fact of the matter is we've been blinded. We've been blinded by judgment. We've been blinded by criticisms of other people. We've been blinded at times by our own self-righteousness. And perhaps maybe we, just like those two blind men, need to go to Jesus, and we need to be screaming at the top of our lungs, "Son of David, have mercy on us." And just like those blind men, we need to tell Jesus we want to see. And no, it's not seeing colors. No, it's not seeing flowers. It's seeing people. And seeing them differently. Seeing them as somebody that God loves. Seeing them as somebody that God has placed in our lives for a particular purpose. Yesterday I got an opportunity to talk to an old friend again, and he called me on the phone, and as soon as he called me, he didn't need to tell me his name, didn't need to tell me who he was. I didn't know whose number it was, but I answered it, and I knew right away it was Marvin Williams. See, Marvin Williams is a guy that I worked with at the Simmons Company, and his first day at work there, he just so happened to be placed at the same workstation with me. And that whole day, I can remember Marvin there helping me work, and I was praying the whole day, "God, give me an opportunity. Give me an opportunity, God. I just want to say something. Give me an opportunity." And then finally, I got the courage at the end of the work shift to tell him something like, "Marvin, I don't know where you've been. I don't know what's going on in your life, but God loves you. He's got a plan for your life. And if that's something that we can talk about, I would love to." Well, Marvin, for a long time, kind of ran around and away from that. Found out his uncle was working on him at the same time, and a few years after that first initial conversation with Marvin, Marvin gave his life to the Lord. Yeah, at first glance, people could have looked at Marvin and called him a womanizer, could have called him an alcoholic, could have called him so many different things. I'm just glad at that point in my life that I saw Marvin for who he was, someone whom God loved. So, I don't know who's going to watch this video or what you're going to do with it, but maybe like those two blind men that you and I, we need to pray. We need to pray, and we need to ask God, please help us to see. Help us to see people the way you see them. Help us to see them as harassed, needing to be led to you. talk to you guys later.